In other news, Cape Town's mayor is expected to launch the winter readiness campaign in Vrygrond. That's in Muizenberg tomorrow. The program is aimed at preparing informal and suburban areas for winter rain. Our Newzroom Afrika reporter Nasiphi is already tracking this story. Joins us now live. Nasiphi, what exactly does it mean to prepare these areas for winter rain?
Well, Tembekile, we all saw in the recent months or recent weeks alone what happened in KZN with the infrastructure, and many people talking about the town and how the town rather was not prepared infrastructure-wise for those devastating floods. And today the city of Cape Town embarking on that campaign, the winter readiness program, going to not only informal communities but also suburban communities to ensure that the infrastructure is indeed ready for those winter rains. I mean, just last year alone, how we crisscrossed various communities that were flooded, including the informal settlements. But to talk to us more about this winter readiness campaign, I'm joined here by the City of Cape Town Mayor, Geordin Hill-Lewis. Thank you so much for your time. But we see a truck behind us. Talk to us and talk to the City of Cape Town residents. Why we're here?
We are here to inspect the progress that we are making on our so-called winter readiness campaign, which takes these trucks around the city and blasts high-pressure water through our stormwater and our sewage pipes to clear out any blockages before winter rains start. We know that when the winter rains come, if there's any blocked pipes, these roads, these homes around here often are flooded out. And we're trying to prevent that proactively as best we can. So we are doing this for more than 100 kilometers of pipe around the city before the end of June. And we know that those areas that are most prone to flooding, that's where we're focusing, which we know is the case here in Vrygrond. What you can hear behind me is what we're also doing. We are going to those areas that are most at risk, and we are loud hailing, informing residents that they are at risk of flooding in June, July, August. We're handing out pamphlets. We're putting up signs in some places, particularly where there are informal residents who have actually built their structures sometimes in flays and water areas that are very wet in winter, sometimes in riverbeds. And perhaps they don't know what is coming in June, July, but we are going to warn them now and say this is not a safe place to build a structure. You should move before winter comes. So we're trying to be as proactive as we can.
And then contingency plans for those communities that are settling in flood-prone communities like COVID-19 informal settlements, Marikana, where you find their houses become submerged in water during those periods of winter.
Those are exactly the people that we are going literally door to door to see, and with the loud hailer, as you can hear, and warning them of the risk, because we have very limited options. There's some things that we can do for residents who are flooded out, but if it's thousands of residents, then of course we do not have alternative accommodation for that number. So we really need residents to take proactive action now, to either raise the level of their floors or to move their structures out of those riverbeds and ponds. And then, of course, to help us by keeping the stormwater system clean of litter and blockages. And if you look at what's come out of this already, you can see the incredible mud, oil, teaspoons, cutlery that are coming out of the system.
I mean, some community residents are raising the fact that the infrastructure also needs an upgrade. Is that something the city is looking at?
Yes. Oh, massive, massive. You know that this is something I've spoken about often. We are pouring billions into sewage and stormwater upgrades over the next few years. In fact, 750 million next year alone just in pipe replacements, upgrading of old, broken pipes that are in need of upgrade. So there will be huge investment in our sewage system, in our stormwater and road system in the years ahead. But of course that doesn't help us for this winter. This is the only thing that's going to help us this winter, and if residents help us by keeping the rubbish out of the system.
I mean, for this winter, I mean, you do talk about contingency plans should some communities find themselves flooded. Will there be alternative land and accommodation for those residents?
Very limited. That's the point I was making earlier. Yes, we can help some, the worst affected, if there's residents like that. But if it affects thousands of people, of course, then where there's no alternative land available to accommodate that number of people, which is why we have to be more proactive. I would like us to, in the years ahead, even increase the number of these trucks available. We've just allocated millions of rands to buying 5 or 6 more of these, so that we can increase that proactive campaign across the city of clearing these pipes.
I mean, for this winter period, do you think there is an option to have, machines that will be able to suck water out of communities should they find themselves flooded?
Yes, we are securing emergency pumps, but there are some parts of the city where there is so much water that flows towards those places because they are natural ponds. They're dry in the summer, but they become a pond in the winter, that there's no pump powerful enough to drain that water out quickly enough. So there you will find that the pump will be there for a long time, draining water, but there will still be flooding, even though there are those pumps available. So those are the very, very high-risk areas, and those include places like Zwezwe in Dunoon and Riverton in Dunoon, where really that is actually a river in the winter. And places in Thabo Mbeki, informal settlement, in Philippi, in Marikana, areas that you know. So those are particularly where we are focusing these kind of interventions to try and prepare as best we can for winter.
And to expand the Winterness Ready program, firefighters, have we seen them already starting with their winter readiness program,
Yes.
where they're alerting communities in regards to how best to put out fires and to avoid fires?
Yes, exactly, and they are all addressing their kind of staffing schedules, leave schedules, to make sure that they are able to respond very quickly to shack fires in the winter. And yeah, so I'm comfortable that the fire department is really a center of excellence. They are ready. What we need to make sure is that roads and stormwater and sanitation are as ready to respond to the what we know is coming.
Thank you so much. Mayor of the City of Cape Town there, Geordin Hill-Lewis, giving us an update in regards to this campaign the City of Cape Town is embarking on, and also touching on the fact that about 75 million rand has also been set aside for the coming year, or rather for next year rather, to upgrade the infrastructure of the City of Cape Town. As you do know that as much as they are doing this and unclogging the drains and ensuring that come winter time the drains are unclogged to obviously reduce the chances of flooding in various communities, there is also the issue of infrastructure that one of the residents has actually raised, that there is an issue that the pipes are a bit too small. However, we do hearing now from the mayor that that is something that they're actually looking at, and also raising awareness in communities that have settled on flood-prone land, that they are asking them to have interventions in place, either to raise or elevate their homes or to move to a more suitable land.
Nasiphi, thank you very much for that update in Cape Town.